And Duckett, camera's all good at the back. Excellent. And we're going to start with Rory. Go ahead, please.
Hi there. If we could start with Ollie Pope's century, you were out there for a good bit. What does it say of Ollie that he got a century against bowling of that quality today?
Yeah, I just think he was so calm coming out. He probably couldn't walk out in tougher conditions with Jasprit running down the hill with the lights on. So, I think at one point he was runnable 50 or around that. So, it was great batting with him. I always have a good time out there in the middle with him. And yeah, I had goosebumps when he got to 100. You could see what it meant to him. He's such a big part of this dressing room. And it was just great to see him be there 100 not out.
Yeah, it did look like it really meant a lot to him, and it meant a lot to you guys for him as well.
Yeah, of course it did. We're very good at keeping things in the dressing room, but you obviously you can hear the noise from outside of it, and Popey can't start the summer any better, scoring 170 and then being 100 not out in the conditions today. So we're obviously very delighted for him.
Having faced it as well out there, can you sum up how good Bumrah was today and always?
Yeah, he's the best bowler in the world. He's extremely hard to face. He's good in any conditions. He's good in India on the flattest pitches ever, and when he's coming in down the hill with the lights on and it's swinging both ways, it's tough. And I feel like we minimised the damage early on. It could have been a lot worse today. So I think we're pretty happy in the position we're in.
And just a word as well for Josh. Told me you wrap things up nice and quick and made sure. I guess you'd bitten someone's hand off to get under 500 at one point. Yeah,
it was until those dark clouds were rolling in. But Tungy's great. I've seen him do that for knots a lot. He's got the extra pace, the X factor about him. And, I've seen him kind of, I call him the mop, but mopping up the tails at the end. And it's exactly what you want when you've been in the field for 120 overs. There's nothing more frustrating than, 9, 10, 11 chipping in with runs and putting on a partnership.
Will?
Ben, what do you mean saying about Ollie's character that he's able to block out that noise that you mentioned? You can't quite avoid it, but he's managed to block it out and he started somewhere 200.
Yeah, strong. I don't know what's inside Popey's head, but I think he's just stayed true to the way that he plays, and there's no better feeling than that. Scoring 100 against that attack. Coming out in the first over, what were we 4 for 1? You could just see it in the way that he celebrated. And it didn't just mean a lot to him, it meant a huge amount in the dressing room as well.
Front here.
Yeah. Ben, was that a conscious call at the very start that you will take on Jasprit Bumrah because you kept on playing, for overs and overs, and you tried to take him on also? There were boundaries also hidden by you. So was that a conscious call, or it was just the flow of the game? And what do you think the good score here means? What you guys are targeting for at this point of time?
No, I actually didn't really want to target him. It felt like, trying to minimise the damage for him. I think I even left a ball to him, so that showed my intent. He's just a world-class bowler, and you can't let someone like him just bowl. He's too good for that. You've got to still try and put him under pressure and try and put the bad balls away. And then I think on a total, who knows? It just depends on. We've had some incredible days as a dressing room, and if we can get a couple of guys in on that pitch tomorrow, if the sun's out, you've seen when India batted how quickly you can score. I think the main focus is to win that first session. If we can walk in at lunch and we've won the morning session, it certainly sets things up a bit better.
One more here and then we'll finish with Steph at the back.
Hi Ben. High praise for Bumrah first of all, but what is the difference between facing Bumrah and facing Siraj and Prasidh Krishna today? If you can explain that a bit, how different were these two in front of Bumrah, and of course how did you compose yourself after getting blocked by that two Ravindra Jadeja?
Yeah, I think with Jasprit, it's first of all how unique his run up is. You're obviously waiting for him to get there, and I think just his ability to bowl 3 or 4 different balls with no cue. You don't know he's bowling a bouncer or a slower ball or a Yorker or a way swinger or an in-swinger until it comes out of his hand, really. He's got such a fast wrist. So that's why you've got to watch the ball so hard with him. That's the difference, really. I think other bowlers, you can maybe see out the hand if they're bowling a wobble ball or an away swinger or something. But it's just, very difficult to pick it up with Jasprit.
And that drop catch.
Well, yeah, I was just very happy to be out there, especially with Jadeja doesn't drop many, I don't think. So, yeah, I was very thankful to him.
Stefan, last one, please.
But when there is noise, even if it's just created by us guys, and you say it's hard to ignore, how do you guys respond in the group? Because you say you can't ignore it. Are you on eggshells around a particular player? Do you get around them? How do you treat it?
Well, I mean, it depends, I guess, in different situations. But there's noise outside of a dressing room, but there's no noise in it. So I guess that's the way. We're not having discussions in the dressing room about who's going to play. It seemed pretty clear coming into this test match, if a bloke scores 170 a few weeks ago, he's going to play this game. That's just how it was. And, I think individually it's how you deal with that. As a dressing room, I think we're very good at, if someone needs you to get around him, we'll do that. If someone needs to be left alone, we'll do the same. But, what's been going through Popey's head for the last few weeks, I don't know. But, to be told 2 or 3 days out that you're playing is probably a good thing for him. You're not waiting until the day before, and you can train the way you want to train. But I just think it's an individual thing on how you go about doing that. And, the way Popey's dealt with that, it's just been, superb, and just sums up and proves why he's England's number 3 and doing the things that he's doing.
Brilliant. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers.